Welcome back. We're having a great time at affairrecovery.com. I hope you are continuing to enjoy the information and the resources. And I, believe it or not, try and read every comment that is submitted, whether it be on YouTube, on Twitter, or affairrecovery.com. I can't always get to them. And so I really want to communicate at least a few times to those of you that leave comments. I value them. I appreciate them. I always love feedback, positive and negative, but I can't always answer them. And so you may find that your comment or question goes unanswered. Please don't be offended. There's just only so much that I can do, and there's just only so many places that I can respond. I don't want you to feel left out. I certainly will try, but if I don't, please forgive me. I'm doing the best that I can. But it was through the comments that I received a question very recently that I thought really had to be answered. And the question was basically, is there ever a time where you just have to walk away? Where maybe the infidelity is so gross, or the addiction is so overwhelming, or the struggle is so difficult that it's just better to cut your losses and walk away. So today I want to discuss that and help you navigate through what is probably an incredibly difficult conversation to answer. If you're going to answer the question of, should you just walk away, the damage is too severe, I would at least tell you, I don't know, and hold on before you make that decision. Because if you were to look at Samantha and I can tell you that in upwards of at least probably 20 or 30 close, trusted friends, staff members, overall people that were in our inner circle thought Samantha should walk away. In fact, some very high-level authoritative figures within our organization actually thought that Samantha was mentally off and said that about her for being willing to stay with me. So before you rush to a decision, rush to judgment, please understand there's going to be so many armchair quarterbacks or armchair therapists that are going to be telling you what you should do, when in reality, though, you are the one that has to walk out this life. You are the one that's going to have to, if you come from faith, stand before God and give an account for why you did what you did. And you're going to want to have the confidence and the faith to say, look, I did what I felt like the Lord wanted me to do, or I did what I felt like I was supposed to do with the information that I received. If you don't come from faith, you're the one that's going to be on your deathbed and want to be able to know, you know what? I did what I felt was best. I made the decision that I was willing to walk out. I made the decision that I felt was best for me and my trusted loved ones. And there was all these conflicting opinions, but I had to do what I thought was best. And I am proud of the decision I made. So before you walk away, consider these factors. Number one, has there been expert help involved? I see lots of people who are ready to throw in the towel, or actually do throw in the towel, because they used a generalized approach. They sought general help. Maybe it was a pastor, maybe it was a rabbi, priest, maybe it was a general counselor, but it wasn't expert help. The difference is simply a scalpel compared to a butter knife. If you're not dealing with an expert, I think it may be too early to walk away, because until an expert who has somewhere between 10, 15, 40 years of experience treating and specializing in infidelity or addiction and has been through it themselves, I think you're very limited. We had seen a few general therapists and it was a complete fiasco. Then we found Rick, and it completely changed the entire trajectory of our marriage, of our personal recovery, and our overall understanding that we did have a future together, not just because we had kids, but because maybe it was too soon to make any decisions. But we didn't get to where we're at now, married almost 24 years, by just kind of winging it or getting general help. Another factor is there genuine remorse? Is there humility? It's not about, is there a perfect recovery work in place? No, but is there remorse for what they've done? If there isn't remorse, how long has it been since D-Day? If you are working through maybe in upwards of a year, 2, 3, 4+ years, and there's not genuine remorse, that's a problem, and a significant problem at that. Next, is there progress? It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Whether it's a few months in or whether it's a few years in, how much progress has there been? Has there been a willingness to do recovery work? Has there been a change in the unfaithful's demeanor? Has there been a change in the way the unfaithful communicates with you? And is there a difference in their lifestyle? If there's progress, it may be too early to walk away. If there isn't any progress and you are in upwards of somewhere around a year or so, and you've actually done expert recovery work and you've given them the chance and there isn't progress, it may be time to consider something like a separation or, regrettably, maybe a divorce. Please understand, I say separation or divorce with great apprehension. But there is a point where you have to consider, are they willing to do the next factor, which is whatever it takes? Is there a whatever it takes mentality from them to get healthy, to save the relationship, to do recovery work, to own what they've done? If there isn't a whatever it takes mentality, then you have to kind of back up and say, well, have you utilized expert help? Because if you've utilized expert help and there still isn't a whatever it takes mentality, the next question is, well, how long has it been? If it's only been a couple of months, it's too early. If there have been numerous instances of going back to the affair partner, that is a huge red flag, but it might be too soon to evaluate whether or not you should just cut ties and walk away, because there has to be a defining moment where they decide, you know what, I'm willing to do whatever it takes and I'm going to stop acting out with the affair partner and utilize expert help. If they've done those things and there still isn't progress and there still isn't a whatever it takes mentality, and it's been in the neighborhood of a year or so, give or take, it's concerning and the writing may be on the wall. Next is a kind of a wide sweeping factor, and that is, are they safe? Certainly, if there's domestic violence or abuse, I would tell you that you need to create separation as soon as possible. If they are not a safe person, and I'll do a video on what a safe person looks like, but for the sake of the moment, safety means, there's no danger of physical violence. There's no danger of mental abuse where they're continually gaslighting you. Safety means that they are trying, that they are willing and open to hear your concerns, that they are willing to get help, that they are not lashing out, that they're not continuing to act out, whether it be through their addiction or with their affair partner. These are some of the examples of being a safe person. Now, you may be an unfaithful spouse and you may have labored. You may continue to try and be a safe person, do whatever it takes, get expert help, paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to get help from an organization, maybe like affairrecovery.com or other intensives to try and save the marriage. And the betrayed spouse just refuses to stop maybe lashing out or abusing you or shaming you or harassing you. That's also a situation where you have to ask yourself, how much is too much? I don't know, because it's different for everyone. But there is a point where even you as an unfaithful spouse have to take the moment where you say, okay, I've done everything that I can possibly do. And it's been, here's some kind of bookends for you. If it's been 2 years or so and nothing has changed, there isn't progress, they are still stuck, they're still somewhat paralyzed, and they haven't really been willing to do any work, well, you have to ask yourself that question. There is this point, this isn't to manipulate you or shame you, but there is this humility that says, you know what, I caused this pain. How long do I feel like I need to continue to help them heal from what I subjected them to? And you're not going to get this big shaming speech from me. That's a question you have to answer. You have to, if you come from faith, pray. You have to, if you don't come from faith, contemplate. How long can I do this? But what you do have to understand is, however long that's going to be, if you decide that you're going to continue to have your own dysfunction of maybe complaining or maybe whining or maybe continuing to make them the bad guy with this mentality that says, well, you know, it's been 2 years, it's been 4 years and nothing's changed. Well, hold on. Are you using that as an excuse to not get healthy yourself? What have you done for your own healing? Because that's an essential conversation you have to have with yourself. Here's a crucial factor as I close today. It is not uncommon. In fact, it happens more than you could really wrap your mind around. That oftentimes one spouse, unfaithful or betrayed, says, you know what? I feel like I've done enough and it's over and I'm going to move on. And then that spouse goes to the other spouse, says that, maybe starts to talk about separation or files for divorce or what have you. And at that moment, the spouse on the other side has an awakening. It may take a few days. It may take a week or two. But they start to go, oh, okay, hold on. Maybe I have crossed over the line of no return. Wait a minute. And they wake up. They have this moment. They say, hold on. Yes, maybe they didn't think you were serious. Yes, maybe they never thought that you would do it and you didn't have the guts to do it. Yes, maybe they finally are being confronted what they are in danger of losing. Yes, maybe. Here's the essential moment. Maybe they do have this great awakening. At that point, I would encourage you to say, hold on, what? You're suddenly willing now. Okay. Well, at that point, you need to have a plan and say, well, I'm only willing to hold off on the divorce, the separation, whatever, or maybe you're not, but maybe the only thing that will keep you in the deal, if you will, as they say in sales, is to say, okay, well, you know what? Listen, if you're so willing now, then I want to go to, and I'm going to tell you that I would highly suggest an EMS weekend or something of that nature, a critical intensive where you demand that they come with you to this medium, whatever it is, and do recovery work. And even then, I think you have every right to say, look, you know what? If you are really serious, maybe I'll put a stay on the divorce, maybe I'll pause it, maybe I'll still file, but we'll just start the process. But the only way that I will rethink or reconsider is if you commit to doing this recovery work with me, and then you go start to do it. Because if they just say, no, please, I don't want a divorce, I don't want to separate, but then they won't do the recovery work, it's all smoke and mirrors. And you don't have to keep living on the crumbs of empty promises from them. You don't have to continue to hold on when they are not safe, won't do work, aren't serious, aren't showing any progress, and just giving you lip service. There comes a time you have to have the courage to move on with your life when they are not willing to move on with theirs.